Excuse me, I am just verifying that it's recording, and it looks like it is. Okay, so today is April 29th, and we are going to keep talking about device-free moments. We did the first video in this unit yesterday, and we will review a little bit about what we talked about yesterday, and then we're going to talk about some new information. So the topic was device-free moments, finding balance with devices. And again, just a reminder, we're talking about devices like tablets, computers, or phones, something that you would either play games on or text with, or, you know, maybe do some leisure activity with or look up information. This does not apply to communication devices. So again, if you're using like a Tobii Dynavox or a device like that to communicate, this particular presentation does not refer to that, because you would need to have your communication device with you at all times. Okay, so I'm not going to go through every single slide because we went through some of these yesterday, but there are times when it would be better not to be using a device. We are going to talk about what those times might be and talk about why it can be harmful and talk about ways to balance your time so that you are not on your device too much. Some harmful effects of too much screen time we talked about in the previous video. Weight gain, eye strain, sleep problems, social problems. If you need to go back and look at the previous video, you can. I'm going to keep moving on. And I do want to also mention that, excuse me, that I did take a slideshow from Common Sense Education and I adapted it for our purposes. So some of this information comes from them. Some of this is information I added or adapted. All right, so some key vocabulary that we learned that helps us talk a little bit about what impact too much device time could have on us. It could be a distraction from what we should be paying attention to. Also, again, attention. You know, what are we paying attention to? If there's a friend in the room, are we paying attention to the friend or our device? Safety. Are we making sure that we are not sacrificing our safety while using or not using devices? Respect. Are we respecting other people with our device usage? Concentration. Too much device time can affect your ability to focus on tasks. Sleep. It can affect our sleep. All right, and we're going to go ahead and get into the new material today. So here we go. Excuse me. Okay. So ideas. So these are kind of assignments for you. Write down how much time you spend on a device for a couple days. That could be a phone, an iPad, a Kindle, another kind of tablet. It could be the computer. Have an adult help you. So if you are playing a game for 2 hours, write that down, that you played a game. If you are surfing the internet for an hour, write that down. If you are texting somebody for, you know, a half an hour, write that down. An adult can help you do that. Now, there are some things on the Apple devices, the iPhones, the iPads. There's something called screen time in the settings that you can use to track how much time you spend doing certain things on your device. And there's a picture right there, and it shows how much time this individual was spending on her device. First, I believe it shows all the time spent on that particular day, but then it breaks it down into what she was doing during that time. There's also something on Android devices called digital well-being that you can use, and that's in the picture below. And that feature on the Android devices would help you to do the very same thing that screen time does on the iDevices. You may be surprised that you spend more time than you think using a phone, tablet, or computer, because the time can go by really fast. Okay, so it would be good to start reducing your screen time. Once you find out how much time you do spend on a device, maybe you don't spend a lot of time. Maybe this is not a problem for you. But I know for a lot of people it is an issue, and it's something that you should, you know, pay attention to in case it does become a problem. So Some ways to start reducing your screen time. You could set a timer that will tell you when to turn off your device. And here's a picture of the timer on an iDevice, on an iPhone. So let's just say that it's the end of the day and you finally have time after your schoolwork is done and your chores are done and you want to sit down. Maybe you could set your timer for 30 minutes or something. Or maybe set your timer for 45 minutes or whatever. And set the timer and hit start. And then you can, do your screen time, work on your device, do what you are wanting to. Then when the timer goes off, you stop and get up and do something else. And that will help you keep track of, how much time you actually have been sitting there on that device. Another way to reduce your screen time, turn off your devices a half hour before bedtime, because they say that if you are on your device clear up till bedtime, that it will affect your ability to go to sleep. Make a list of ideas of fun things you can do when not using a device. And we will talk about some of those fun things on the next slide. Designate certain times of the day that are device-free, maybe meal times, maybe right after school. You would have to kind of sit down and know what those times are. But sit down and just say, I am not going to use my device while I need to get my chores done. I am not going to use my device while I'm getting my schoolwork done. And again, like I mentioned before, you could use the screen time feature on Apple devices or the digital well-being feature on Android to help you limit your time on your device. So those features not only tell you how much time that you're on your device and what kinds of apps you're using, you can use those features to set and limit certain apps and certain activities that you do on your device. If that is confusing to you, have an adult help you. Maybe we should make a video that talks how to go through that process. Okay, so I'm sure you have your own ideas, but here are some ideas that I came up with. Fun alternatives to being on a device. So you're done with your device for the night, you put it down. Here are some fun things you could do. Play a board game with a friend, staff, or family member. There's lots of fun board games out there, or maybe card games, maybe even just a physical game like tag or something, or hide and seek even. That can be fun for any age. If you are able to go outside, now, excuse me, I know that some of you, because of the pandemic, have limitations on how often you can go outside, so you will have to obey those limitations, but an idea is to go outside and go for a walk or play on the playground as much as you can. If you cannot go outside, take a walk inside. Another fun activity, make some art. I know that a lot of you out there like art. I know that a lot of you have done art with Jamie. You've been to some art camps, I believe, with Jamie. So I know a lot of you like art. So make some art. Have an adult or staff help you get craft materials together and make some art. Some of you are into Legos. Get your Legos out and play with them. Or if you're not into Legos, get some items out that you could build with. This could be fun for guys or gals. Read a real book. Help someone help you if reading is challenging. Maybe grab a book and hand it to a staff and have them read it to you. Or they can help you with the words that you are having difficulty pronouncing. Call and talk to a friend or relative. Okay, yes, in this case, you would be using a device. You'd be using some sort of phone to call your friend or relative. But in this case, you'd be increasing your social interactions with people, especially during the pandemic here. You can't be with a lot of people. Maybe you can't be with certain friends or relatives. You can only be in your dorm room or rec area, or only be in your own home right now because of social distancing guidelines. So in that case, using your phone or tablet to have some phone calls or video calls with a friend or relative would be productive and would be okay. Okay, so I'm not going to go through this video, but this is a really good video that shows the harmful effects of excessive screen time. I'd like you to watch this on your own. The link is right here, and I will include the link in the description of the video. It's not a very long video, but I want you to watch it because I want you to take away from the video some harmful effects of screen time, because you're going to need that information. And I believe on the next slide it will tell you why. Yes. Okay, so here are some assignments. Think of 2 harmful effects of too much screen or device time. We've talked about that earlier in the slideshow or in the previous video. It was also talked about in that video link I just talked about. Email me 2 harmful effects at my address below, tina.clark@lifescapesd.org. If you don't know how to email or don't have access to email, find someone who does, a parent, maybe a sibling, maybe a staff member, if you're in residential. Think of some ideas of things you can do. Now here's something else you need to email me. Think of some ideas of things you can do instead of being on your phone, tablet, computer, or even TV. I know we've talked about some of the ideas in the slideshow here, the video, but I would like you to come up with some ideas of things that are unique to you. Maybe you have certain interests, and you can email me those ideas at my address right there. Okay, next thing you can email, and you can include this all in the very same email. You don't have to do 3 separate ones. Tell me about a day and a time when you tried one of your ideas. So you thought of some good ideas of, that are fun to get off your device and get you either outside or get you moving, doing something, maybe dancing, maybe exercising, maybe just going outside and sitting in the sun. But tell me about a day and a time when you tried one of your ideas. What idea did you try and how did it go? You don't have to pick out something that went well. Maybe it didn't go so well. That's okay. This is a starting point. Maybe you chose something and it didn't go well. You didn't enjoy it like you thought you would. That's okay. Choose something else, but just choose something and let me know how it went for you. All right. That is it, I believe, for my slideshow. Yes, that is it for the video for today. And there's plenty of things for you to do in there. And when we get face-to-face someday, soon I hope, I want to talk about all this again, because I think I'd love to talk with you live about how this went for you and what we could do in the future to help you with this. So I will sign off for now and talk to you in the next video.